All right, we're on the Patreon. It's me.
Oh, hello, it's Mets. You
Wow.
told me I could do the. Oh my god. We filmed like so much stuff a bit ago, so I'm trying to send it all to him.
I know, but you could do that while we talk too.
All right.
Just completely tune me out, man.
Jesus Christ.
All right, so we shot. Well, I shot something called The Pile, and The Pile is just all the screenplays that are, probably never going to get produced that I've written over the years. And you have a very interesting insight to all of this, because you were there for the bulk of this stuff being written, because I would get an idea.
Yeah, you just walk out of the office and I'd be half asleep on the popcorn warmer.
Yeah.
And you'd just be like, okay, Florida Man,
Yeah.
Or like, I do remember the day you came out and you're like, the Florida Man meme? And I'm like, yeah, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Hollywood didn't.
Well, yeah. But, that was years and years. You just come out of because it'd be dead in between, right? Like, the movies would start and I'd just be there and then you'd be like, okay, idea. And I was like, wow, this is super interesting.
So, yeah.
It sounded sarcastic, but I meant it seriously.
Wow, that's so interesting.
It's so interesting.
And you're like, I rolled my eyes so hard I fucking hurt myself. Because most of The Pile came from the Anthony Wayne. Because I would have to be there super fucking early or super fucking late by myself.
Usually both.
and we had a lot of gear that was always broken. So I'd have to be on the phone with the help desk. But the theater phone would only extend so far. Like, if you went past theater 3, you had no reception in the building.
Amazing.
So I would have to be there, okay, say projector 5 broke down. And okay, when I have to do this and this, and I'm like, okay, hold on. I'd put the phone down, and then I run to the thing, and then I come back. So while I was up there on hold and stuff like that, my mind would wander. And that you brought up Florida Man, so we'll talk about Florida Man. Sure. Even though Florida Man is a comic book, it's going to be a comic book. I will go into where Florida Man came from. Okay. So I was at work one day, super early. Actually, I believe it was Thanksgiving. We had a show at noon, but we had a projector go down the night before. I promised my family I would go do Thanksgiving with them the day before Thanksgiving, because that was the only time I could get off. And so I went there, and as I was driving back from my family's house, they live way out in the Pine Barrens in New Jersey. I'm listening to the radio, and they had some crazy fucking Florida thing on NPR, and they were talking about wild Florida stuff, and I was like, that's kind of interesting. So I came home that night, and I couldn't sleep, and I knew I had to be in early in the morning to start doing stuff. So I fell down the rabbit hole of watching Watch Mojo videos about Florida, and I was like, okay, it's always Florida Man. And I'm like, well, why is that? So then I went into, okay, there's the Sunshine Act, which is the Freedom of Information Act, where they tell all these fucking stories, and it's always Florida Man. And that's when I was like, oh, that's a good idea. What if it's one dude who's doing all of it? So then I started doing the research, again, because I can't fucking sleep at night. So I started doing the research, and I found out that there was another comic book called Florida Man, and it was done by a guy who had done some work on Punisher. But it was like a My Name is Earl type of thing. And I guess it had something to do with stolen baseball cards or something like that. So I was like, okay, it's all this white trash tomfoolery. So that's one way you could go with it. But I need to find the hook. So I said, well, if it's all one guy doing it, what would be the hook? Well, what if it's supernatural? What if he's like Constantine or Hellboy? All right, but those characters are in control. Right. This is a dude who has no control over any of this shit. So then the idea started spitballing. I went to sleep that night. I got up the next morning and I was changing the bulb for the projector and stuff like that. And literally it just hit me. It's like, oh my God, okay. He died and came back. He overdosed or something like that. And now he could see the supernatural, and you could do that kind of like Hellboy, like Constantine, where there's this world around us that we don't see, but it would be super white trashy, and he's not saving the world. The dead are they're bored and they hate him, and they just fucking with him. So literally the entire story came together that quickly. And I remember telling you about it and telling some other people about it, and they did not fucking get it.
That's wild. I got it immediately.
Yeah. Oh, this is even before the Florida aspect of it came in.
Yeah.
I had a whole other plot in my head.
Because I know initially you didn't tell me like all of the like it was. I think initially when you walked out and told me about it, you were just like, "What if it's all one guy?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Okay, yeah, I can see that." And then like I think you came back with more details later.
Mm-hmm.
So.
The original idea was going to be, which is going to be one of the sequels. Florida has all kinds of crazy legends, and the conquistadors were down there and stuff like that. So the idea for this original story was going to be the Fountain of Youth, and Florida Man falls into it and then spends the entire story as a foul-mouthed bearded baby that has to be carried around in a baby Bjorn by a chick with giant tits. So he's just this little baby, between them, but he's just like a foul-mouthed little dick. And then I was watching Frontal and Ray, who's a B movie filmmaker friend of mine, is doing all these Christmas movies, and I was like, okay, it's really easy to get something sold that's Christmas related. And I was like, oh fuck, Christmas Florida is a real town. Yeah. So that's when I started putting that whole thing together. And then from there, like literally the story just came together so quickly, all the little nuances and stuff. And obviously I based it on Justin Daniels, because I wanted him to play it, but I wrote it as a screenplay.
Yeah. Because we even filmed a little bit for it.
We did, yeah. We filmed some stuff for it. So I wrote it as a film. And
specifically the one scene, the funeral scene, you were hoping that I'd dress the way I normally do, but I was like, it's a funeral scene, I need to dress really conservative.
And I was like, son of a bitch.
You're like, oh, I was hoping you could be...
No.
What did you wanted me to be like... The phrasing of this needs to be delicate. You wanted me to be a trashy prostitute at his funeral specifically.
Yes.
Or like some sort of stripper or something that like, he paid frequently.
Yeah, because I thought the idea, it would be fun if you had like all these walks of life.
Exactly, but I just showed up in like a nice dress.
Because it was going to be like you, and then Melissa, and then you had that kid who used to work for me at the theater who's like very straight-laced. And I just thought it'd be funny to have all these different...
Melissa was doing like a creepy vibe.
Yeah, she was going for like a mystic, like a Spanish mystic kind of thing. Just having like all these weird people there, and it reminded me of what I was going for was, have you ever seen the Ramones' Pet Sematary music video?
Yes.
Okay. Where there's just all these weird eccentrics there. That's kind of what I wanted it to be.
But then I had to ruin it by dressing normal.
I know. Well, what are you gonna do? So the funny thing was, we were filming we shot a documentary about the making of Midnight Show. And I had all these people who were involved in the movie come to this studio up in Trenton and shoot a little thing about the making of the movie. And then that night, after we were all done everything, I took Crystal out to eat. And I was like, so this is the idea for this script that I wrote and stuff like that. And she's like, I don't understand this. This is really fucking stupid. So I was like, no. And I'm trying to explain it. She's just not getting it. So I sent her the script. Well, I sent her the first 20 pages. And she sent me a message back that I still have. And it said, I take back what I said. This might be the most fucking brilliant thing I've ever read.
You showed me that message.
Yeah. So I have that saved as like people can say whatever they fucking want about me as a writer. But you did say that, because it starts, and again, like all these little things that happened that led to it. You remember the kid who I kept trying to schedule you with?
Yeah, because I wanted him and he didn't get it. Yeah.
So he was it was him and Joey working together. And it was
which apparently he preferred over working.
He did. No, he did.
No, I know. I just don't mean that in a
because they talked about.
He's not interested.
They talked about Top Gear a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
I could have watched Top Gear with him. I would have been.
He could have brushed his hair while on his progeria head. So he and Joey are talking about this school project, and it was about like American folk heroes.
Yeah.
And they started like, oh, I don't understand, blah blah blah. So I'm explaining to them why America needed folk heroes. And I went on this whole fucking dissertation about it. And then when I sat down to start writing the script, I was like, okay, well, I need a framing device for this. Because originally I said, all right, it's going to follow the path of Beowulf. But then I was like, wait a minute. that fucking speech I gave that kid, I could just put that in here, but dirty it up.
Yeah.
And it was the whole reason why America needed folk heroes, because we didn't have our own identity, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And that Florida Man, because so many people know the meme,
Yeah.
is essentially really our last American folk hero.
Yeah.
So I wrote the script, sent it off to her, and then she got it. And then I started getting other people excited about it. And I got that poster done and stuff like that, and it gave me a chance to get really fucking weird. But the first draft of the script was like 280 pages.
Damn.
And from the moment I told you about it to turning in the first draft was probably a week. I just couldn't stop writing. And changing things like that, you know.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, and then so had it. Got the poster together, got the trail, you got the script all cleaned up because I don't believe in grammar.
I had to get over that knowing you because so back when we met initially, I was coming off of being a huge grammar Nazi. I was even worse when I was like 12, 13, but like
Grammar National Socialist Party.
Yes. I'm gonna butcher this, but there's a Finnish word. I think it's Hilkanasia. It means comma fucker, and it basically means the same thing, but like, you know, without the Nazi association. So I called myself that for a long time.
Okay.
Again, I'm probably horribly mispronouncing it, but
if you change that, if you said that with an accent, coma fucker, you're not allowed in hospitals anymore.
But yeah, so starting to work for you, I was convincing myself that it's okay that people do not type like it's an essay. And getting text from you has always been, I'm used to it by now, but like initially I was like,
to be
can
fair,
this man fucking write?
To be fair, you translate things like from German back to English, so when it gets to me, it's like you ever
the road is locked.
Yes, exactly. But you ever see like when like Japanese T-shirts that try to be American, and it's like reading that, it's like hamburger, hot dog, rock and roll. Oh yeah.
I said something so fucking weird the other day, and I can't remember what it was now. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to derail from.
No, it's all right.
I said something like so fucking incorrectly the other day. I'll think about it.
Okay. But yeah, so I Quentin Tarantino is functionally illiterate.
Right.
And he's won several Academy Awards for writing.
That's the thing, is like, I love your scripts. When you send them to me, I can, like I said, at this point I can read through and it's fine. I'm not getting tripped up.
You need a Rosetta Stone?
Yeah, exactly. I should make a Newt Rosetta Stone.
Yeah, there you go. Like Double Dragon 3, they were trying to find a Rosetta Stone.
Okay.
Bimmy and Jimmy.
Okay.
Because they put their names wrong in the.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, very much so.
But yes, I'm sorry. I'll let you get.
No, it's fine.
Cleaning up the draft.
So got everything all cleaned up. Submitted it out to LA because in 2019 we were going out to LA for meetings at the AFM, and I got a whole bunch of meetings all situated, and that was the week where I left you guys like
that list,
like pages and pages of stuff because I was gonna be gone for a week, and I'm never gone that long.
At the top, it was literally like, you've got a picture of it somewhere. I think I do too, but it was literally like, okay, I'm gonna be gone. Don't fuck up.
Yeah. Well, because when I went to Tucson, I had to fire a girl from the Houston airport. Remember that?
Yeah. Oh my god.
Can't even get on the fucking plane. But yeah, so I wrote it for my friend Justin Daniels. I wrote it obviously for Crystal. I wrote it for Mr. Lobo. I gave everybody juicy parts with tons of stuff to do. It was gory. It was funny. It was dirty. There used to be a guy named Gary, and Gary was.
Oh no.
Gary was like a giggling scoundrel.
Okay.
He was this weird guy who worked for my dad, and he just like he just. Yeah.
That was a very specific image that giggling scoundrel conjured in my brain.
Like, you know the greased up deaf guy from Family Guy? Catch me. And he's like in his underwear running around. Okay.
I don't watch Family Guy.
Okay, it's an old one, but like he reminded me of that guy. And he's like the kind of guy who would be like, we were eating, we had leftovers that we brought back from going somewhere, and I had like spaghetti and clams or something like that. And he goes, "Ooh, where'd you get those? The ocean?" But we were in Pennsauken, New Jersey. Or like, he like brought his dog one time, and he's like, "Don't worry, he won't bite you. He'll just lick you to death." I'm serious, and that's exactly how he said it. And we were like,
relatable.
What?
Sorry. I mean, I can make this. It's fine.
Go ahead.
We were putting my door back on the. It's a long story, but my door is not functional at home. My bedroom door.
Okay.
And it about a year ago now, one of my friends had to kick through it for a video we were filming, and it took the bottom hinge off.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, that was actually not why it was dysfunctional. It was dysfunctional before that, but. So I just kind of left it because, again, it was already dysfunctional. Yeah. And then he came back over again recently and was like, "Oh, your door hinge is off." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, that's from you kicking." He's like, "Why didn't you tell me?" Pulls out a pocket screwdriver, fucking screws the thing back in, right? But he kept tightening it throughout hanging out with me.
Yeah.
And my brother comes over and, like, tries to tighten it, too. And he's like, "We need, like, wood putty or something." They're trying to figure out what it's called. Where they're like, "We gotta put something in there because... the middle screw is just screwing indefinitely," and without thinking, I just go relatable. And normally I say that to things that aren't actually, and then I went, wait, I'm sorry.
That one was too relatable. Oh, and then you know what? I just looked over and I just realized one of the most important pieces of Florida Man lore is hanging right on the wall there.
Which one?
It's green.
Oh, really?
You know what that is?
Yeah.
You know that story?
I don't know, actually.
So on my wall, I have a 6th place equestrian
I remember
ribbon.
Yeah.
So I worked overnights at this hotel.
Is that from the time...
The homeless guy?
No, never mind. Go ahead. I was thinking of something else.
I worked overnights at a hotel that was right off the turnpike. And we shared a parking lot with a Wawa. Mm-hmm. And it was my job at night, especially in summertime, because people would be hanging out by the pool and stuff like that, go around, collect the trash, throw it in the dumpster and stuff like that. So it's around 3 o'clock in the morning, and there's nobody outside, and I'm checking trash cans, and there's really nothing out there. I'm sweeping up cigarette butts and shit like that. So there's like half a white bag, like a clear bag of trash. So I take it, and I fucking wing it over the thing, and when I close the lid, there's a homeless guy, I guess, wearing a Epcot sweatshirt. It's about 100 degrees outside. He's wearing a sweatshirt and shorts. And he hands me this ribbon. He says, "God bless you, son." And he keeps walking. And all that stuck with me was he's wearing an Epcot thing. So he had to, it's Florida related. But where does a homeless guy get a 6th place equestrian ribbon? So I was like,
he didn't earn it.
No, well, that's true. You know what? No, in that case, I say nay. But I'm like, what adventure was he on before we crossed paths? Mm-hmm. And when the whole Florida Man thing started happening, that triggered in my mind as like, okay, this has to go in there at some place, because you meet people in your life and you just go, where were they before? Like, what happened? Why are you the way you are?
I bet people think that about me a lot.
Never me.
Well, yeah, because you know the answer to that question.
So, yeah. Relatable. So we go out to LA and we start having these meetings. And I'm thinking, this is a fucking can't miss, slam fucking dunk. Everybody was excited.
I don't know what I mean by it. You were supposed to Google, like, your birthday and then
around the same time. And everybody I met with, Raven Banner, Paramount, all these different companies. We had a backlot. We had a private tour of the Paramount lot where we got to see like Star Trek shit that like the tourists don't get to see and stuff like that.
Okay.
We went to Warner Brothers for meetings and stuff like that. And every time everybody was like, "That's an East Coast thing. Nobody knows what Florida Man is." So I was so fucking crestfallen when we got back, and I abandoned the entire project, and people were mad at me for it and stuff like that. And then fucking Netflix does a show. There's another comic book.
That's the real reason. Let's be honest. That's the real reason. They didn't want you coming in on their
No, I mean because
territory.
and nobody's done the supernatural element yet.
Yeah.
You know. And I already wrote the sequel, which is it's called Florida Man Gets Moist. And it's it's a weird fucked up story about another Florida legend that down in the Keys, like there were a lot of like boy from Brazil type of shit that was going on where doctors who used to be grammar Nazis, just take the grammar part out, were doing experiments, and then you had the prison system was experimenting on people down there. So I wrote this story about this mad doctor who was creating, you know, human swamp creature things.
Yeah.
And Florida Man in this one has a late night infomercial where he is kind of like selling his services as like a paranormal investigator and karate expert and stuff like that. And he's bad at everything, but he also has I needed him to have a sidekick, but I didn't want him to have like a Robin. So, do you ever watch the Flintstones when you were a kid?
Yeah.
You know Kazoo?
Yeah.
The little alien?
Yeah.
So he has that, but it's OJ. It's an orange with human features underneath of the skin.
Okay.
But like cartoon hands.
Yeah.
And
That sounds unnerving.
because interdimensional. And at one point it gets peeled and screams because its nerve endings are exposed.
Oh my god.
So what started as me coming out of the office and saying, you know the Florida Man myth?
Yeah.
It's all these things that were all mixed together, and it's one guy, and
I was like, neat. Because,
Yeah.
like, I did like hearing, like, not just because I was bored as fuck, but, like, genuinely your ideas are interesting. Otherwise, I wouldn't have, I would have been honest if they weren't.
Yeah.
That is something I'm a little bit honest to a fault.
I would have run in the office and cried.
Oh, no.
Because you know how my door was always slightly cracked?
Yeah. Oh, my god. So, I'm like, alright, Florida Man, but it's all one guy. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. That's not really... Like, I guess, okay, like, sure, but it's not, though. Like, you know that, right? You'd be like, yeah, no, I totally know that. And then you go back and there's just the Craig.
That didn't go at all like I thought. You just look in the office and I'm face down in on the carpet. You alright in there? Fine. Doing payroll.
Checking the safe.
Yeah. Please don't come in here.
Oh my god. No, but like...
You turn on the light and I'm like a raccoon.
Unironically me. Oh my god, with daylight savings time, fucking Joseph and I were heading to work the other day.
Yeah.
And we're like, why is the sun out?
Dude, okay, so this has nothing to do with Florida Man, but how about this?
Sorry.
Oh, no, get this. So, there was a birthday party yesterday morning at 10:45 a.m.
Fuck.
Wait.
Okay.
So the owner he does the schedule now. He had me scheduled at 10:30, but all the staff scheduled at 10 a.m. And I was like, oh, funny, how are they gonna get in? So I showed up at 9:30. The whole fucking party was outside at 9:30. They didn't realize it was daylight savings time. So it was 22 kids waiting outside. And I was like, you guys know it's 9:30, right? And they're like, what time's the party? I was like, 10:45.
Wait, how did they not know it's daylight savings time? All your shit updates automatically.
Fucking Quakers trying to ruin my day. Because usually, like, the best part of my day is, like, before we open when I'm by myself or after we close when I'm by myself, you know? But instead now, I've got these little kids running around the lobby and stuff like that, and I'm like, this is fine.
No thanks.
Everything's fine.
Everything's fine.
Again, fucking Quakers, man.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still have, because even after we both left the theater, I have, like, text messages of all the times you've been, like, literally I'll wake up in the afternoon, because that's how I roll.
Yeah.
And, like,
well, you could be Batman.
I could be Batman. And it'll just be like, okay, what about this? Like, it'll just come out of nowhere. I don't think
I get weird ideas.
Yeah. It's just December. I don't think I can scroll back far enough.
So
I swear they're still here.
That's all right. So I took it out to LA. They rejected it. It sat untouched, but I still believed in it. And then after I was let go from Screenwave, the very first thing that happened was the producer I was working for was like, why don't we turn it into a comic book? So I started working with some other people to try to turn it into a comic, and that's where we are now. But it all started in a hotel parking lot and then coming out of
an office.
out of an office, then dejectedly coming out of meetings in LA, and now here we are, and I've got tons and tons more Florida Man stories I still want to tell. You can never run out of stories when it comes to Florida Man.
Oh yeah.
Because people don't even know the half of it. Like, okay, oh yeah, it's Florida Man. It's in Christmas, Florida. They don't know about the Florida Skunk Ape. They don't know about the other shit. There's there's all kinds of crazy subplots in it, and it's massive and great. And I'm excited for people to check it out when they finally do. And yeah, so that's the pile. That's this episode of the pile.
I scrolled back. Your death does look cool as shit. That was me to you. I guess you filmed.
Oh,
it
from
it was back in February of last year.
Well,
who knows what that
February.
was? Here, let me see.
March was when I
filmed.
filmed.
Been March.
Yeah, because March was when I filmed my scene for Triple Xmas.
I don't have booze. Hold on. I feel like there was a specific movie I was thinking about us watching, and now I can't remember. Okay.
That was my response?
Yeah. I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me. What am I talking about?
But you also, like, I send you so many fucking scripts because I'll just sit down and I'll just need... It's like... It's like... I just need to get it out. Like, it's...
Yeah, exactly. Okay, there it is. The head came out great. Oh, that was for the, that was the...
Oh, the mold. Well, that's coming up on 1 year.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're coming up on a year.
Yep, March 30th, 2023.
Damn, son.
Your death does look cool as shit.
In real life.
Right?
You predicted it.
I did. I know exactly how you're gonna die.
Oh, no. Is it painful?
No.
Oh.
I wouldn't let that happen. You know that.
You could be lying to me, because you know that I'm going to lay in the bathroom on the floor and cry with the door cracked. What are you doing in there? Pooping! Please don't open the door.
I won't.
Please don't tell my wife and kids. It's funny because he doesn't know on Patreon.
Yeah.
Inside jokes are fun because they're inside jokes. Alright, that's it.
Anyway, sorry, yeah. Bye, guys.